Good morning, everyone. My name is Andy Anderson, and so I would like to share with you a wonderful song this morning entitled The River of Life. Traveling down life's highway, full of goodness and grace. I wake up every morning with a smile upon my face, 'cause I know everything I need to know. But I know there's still more to know. So I don't say no, let Spirit flow and let it continue to grow. And know that I feel alright when I'm flowing with the river of life. I feel alright, 'cause someone with love and light. I feel alright when I'm flowing with the river of life. I feel alright, 'cause someone with the love and light. You see, everything I need in the universe is right here, right where I am. It's all that I need to set myself free. I just give thanks and let it be. I can let myself see all my good that comes to me. It's time to start to do your part and let it start living in me. I know I am so full of love. So I don't say no, let Spirit flow and let it continue to grow. And know that I feel alright, when I'm flying, said I feel alright, 'cause someone with love and light. I feel alright, when I'm flowing with the river of life. I feel alright, 'cause someone with the love and light. Filled with love and light, said I feel alright, flowing with the river of life. Said I feel alright right now, 'cause I'm one with love and life. Said I feel alright right now, 'cause I'm one with love and light. I feel alright, said I feel alright in every part of my life. I feel alright, said I feel alright in every part of my life. I feel alright, I said I feel alright in every part of my life. I feel alright when I'm flowing with the river. The river. Oh, life gets so wonderful when you're flowing with the river of life.
So thank you, Reverend Andy. That was really wonderful, talking about the rhythm of life. And I am going to be speaking this morning. The title of my talk is I Am in the Flow of Life. I am in the flow of life. Step into the flow of life. I was thinking about flow recently. There's this wonderful book by Eric Butterworth called In the Flow of Life that I picked up the other day because I was going to talk about something else, but Spirit had something else to say this morning. So I started looking at this book and it was really inspiring me. So I thought that would be a wonderful thing to talk about this morning. There's an affirmation that I have used for years that I really love, and it is, I am in the rhythm and flow of life. So wherever you are right now, you might say that with me. I am in the rhythm and flow of life. So what is flow? What is this thing that we call flow? Well, we live on the North Umpqua River in Roseburg, and we often go and sit on a swing overlooking the river and just watch the river flow. It's so, I can look out the window right now and see it. It's so gentle. In the winter, the river's high, and in the summer it's lower, but it's always flowing 24 hours a day. If I get up in the middle of the night, I can't sleep, I walk out on my deck, I can hear the river flowing. It's constant, it's always there. And right this time of the year, it's very gentle flow. You can just watch it and it soothes you. If there's an obstacle like a rock or a log in the way, the flow simply goes over it or around it. The flow is the connection with life. It just makes you feel calm and peaceful when you sit and watch the flow. It's like tuning into the God channel, or like it's like what Randy said in the beautiful meditation, see as God sees. It's like seeing as God sees. And it's when we see from the consciousness of God, when we're in the flow, everything is easier. Have you ever had an experience like that where you just take a breath and get in the flow and all the troubles seem to fall away and everything just gets easier and flows? In this book, The Flow of Life, Eric Butterworth says this: there is a longing at the heart of the universe to flow into and to perfect all that has been created. Let me read that one more time. There is a longing at the heart of the universe to flow forth into and to perfect all that has been created. This is the basis of all healing and success and overcoming. Get into the flow and you will receive all that you desire or need. So it's what the universe does. It perfects all of its creations. It's right there ready to flow through us, to bring all back into a place of perfection when we open to this flow, when we enter this flow. And you know what? This flow is our natural state. I really had an aha moment about that this week, because you know how there are some truths that you know and that you've read and that you live, but then once you hear it one time, another time, it just clicks. It just seems to make perfect sense. And it was like that with me. The flow is our natural state. Balance is our natural state. Wholeness, health. Sickness is not normal. Health is our natural state. Prosperity is our natural state. And joy. It's a place of balance and peace. And that's where we begin. And that's what we can obtain or return to whenever we desire. Teilhard de Chardin talks about the unimpeachable wholeness of the universe. I love that, the unimpeachable wholeness of the universe. The nature of the universe is wholeness. The nature of God is wholeness. And since we are emanations of the Most High, it is also our nature. to be peaceful and prosperous and healthy and powerful. The universe perfects all that is created. And in this flow, in the flow of the universe, is creativity. There is so much creativity in this flow. When we open to it, new ideas flow in, new ways of looking at things, solutions. There may be a problem that we have been grappling with, trying to find the answer to, talking to people, trying to decide what to do. When if we get in the flow, the solution appears. It just pops in from nowhere. It's amazing. It almost feels like magic, but it's not. Because the flow is the field of all possibilities. The field of all possibilities. So, what happens when we forget we are in the flow? What happens when we feel disconnected and worried and scared? And, just coming out of COVID and in COVID, I know that there were times when we all felt anxious. Are we going to get this? Did I wash my hands enough? Is my mask going to work? Should I be going to the grocery store or staying home? We all went through a time watching the numbers rise, watching the cases go up. We all went through a time where some of us more than others, but it was easy to become frightened, easy to become panicked about this pandemic, and easy to feel isolated from other people. And maybe we forgot that we were in the flow of life. So what do we do when we forget? Well, there's a wonderful parable from the Bible. And some of the disciples went fishing on the Sea of Galilee, and they were fishermen, so they knew how to fish. So they went fishing and they fished all night and they caught nothing. They caught not one fish. So they started to come back to shore and they were discouraged and upset. They had to feed their families. They were wondering what happened, why they didn't catch any fish, what they did wrong. And they saw Jesus on the shore. And he said, go back out and cast the net on the other side of the boat. Cast the net on the right side of the boat. Now, these disciples must have thought, Jesus is a carpenter. He's not a fisherman. We fishermen have been all night and haven't caught anything. But they were willing. And, casting the net on the other side of the boat doesn't make a big difference. There's fish. There should be fish all over the lake. And what's on one side of the boat, when you turn the boat, will be on the other side. So it doesn't make much sense. But they were willing to try. So they went back out and they cast their nets from the right side of the boat. And they quickly caught so many fish, they thought it would break the nets. They had hundreds of fish that they caught. They were out of the flow when they went out the first time they went fishing. But they changed their consciousness. They changed the way they looked. They changed their orientation. They threw the nets out from the other side. Sometimes we look in the same place for our answers over and over, and we don't get them. And we don't think that sometimes it just takes a slight shift to get back into that flow. They were focusing on the negative, on what they couldn't catch. And when they switched that from the negative to the positive, they went from lack to plenty. Their mind was focused on lack, and they switched. They just made a switch. Like Ernest Holmes says, where the mind goes, energy flows. And we all know this. I'm not telling you anything new. When the mind flows to lack and problems and stress and fear, that's where our energy goes. We become embroiled in this, and we begin to create that which we fear. But when we fish from the other side of the boat, we just make a slight change to the truth, and we trust, and we know that the flow is always here for us to enter into. Like the Bible says, out of this heart shall flow rivers of living water. Out of this heart shall flow rivers of living water. Let me tell you a story about Andy and I. We started our studies of religious science when we were in Fremont, California. And when we found the church in Fremont, Dr. J. Scott Neal's church, we loved it. We immediately started taking classes and just jumped on board. And at that point in our lives, we were struggling financially. We were both working full-time and commuting. We had 2 young boys we were raising. Life was very stressful. Life was very stressful. And so as we began to learn these principles of science of mind, our lives improved. It took a while, and I think we took every prosperity class there was, and it didn't seem to be working. And then we didn't give up, and we trusted. And one day things just seemed to get easier. The money was there, even though nothing had changed. We were able to pay our bills on time. And we went on and became ministers at that church. It was Tri-City Church of Religious Science then. We became ministers at that church. And Andy was the music minister, and I was the minister of youth. And it was really wonderful. We really enjoyed that. Our lives were good. Things were getting better. And we went to a ministerial conference one day, and decided that we wanted to do more with our ministry. We just planted a seed. We got back in the flow, and we saw more possibilities. We said, we want to do something more. We're not sure what. We don't want to start a church or anything, but we want to do more. And then a couple months later, we heard that Reverend Dr. Marcia Pierce was retiring from her church in Roseburg, Oregon. And we knew Roseburg. We'd camped in that area, and we loved it. So we said, well, let's check it out. So we came here, and we did our service in a workshop, and Andy did music, and we had a question and answer at the end. And someone raised their hand. The first question they asked was, when can you sell your house and move to Oregon? Sell our house? What are you talking about? We're not ready for that much change. But as we left the church that day, we knew this was our new home. So we went back to Fremont, and many people in our lives did not want us to move, including our pastor, including my sister, and people were very upset with us, but we were trusting. And it turns out that once we got in that flow, we sold our house in Fremont and bought a new house in Roseburg in 2 weeks. It's hard to believe, but we did that in 2 weeks. Things moved very quickly once we'd made that decision. And when we get out of the flow, you know what we would do? We had our Science of Mind textbook out on the deck of our house in Fremont, and we'd open it up to a random page and point and read the truth. And we'd go, oh yes, now we remember. Now we're back in the flow. So we also created our dream house. We sat down and made a list of all the things we wanted to see in our house. We wanted it to be on the water, open, and the inside out, and peaceful with great music. And you know, that's what we created. We have a beautiful new home. Well, it was new when we moved into it 13 years ago, on the North Umpqua River. We have big picture windows with the outside in, and we give wonderful house concert on the deck. We've had many musicians that you might be familiar with come and do concerts here on our deck overlooking the river. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful demonstration. So when you're in the flow, there are unlimited possibilities. When you're in the flow, things come to you. When you're trying to swim upstream and do it all yourself and try and make it happen, it can be difficult. And we all want to get to that place where we have perfect health, perfect prosperity in our lives, peace, and a knowing. And when we trust and just make a slight shift sometimes, like fishing on the other side of the boat, we get back in that flow where the universe is creating perfection through us. Because by allowing ourselves to be open to the flow, it spreads out into the world, into our families and our friends and our communities. And we begin to be a part of that positive change. You know, I believe that we're all here on this earth at this time for a reason, to experience this shift in our planet, to help create the world that we all want, a world that works for everyone. If we stay in the flow, it is so much easier. If we work together in places like this wonderful Center for Spiritual Living, Chico, with like-minded people, if we step forth and help each other and remind each other to stay in the flow. And that doesn't mean, like I might sometimes say to Andy, like, you're not in the flow. You're not making it easy. It's like gently, lovingly remind ourselves that peace is our natural state. Creativity is our natural state. We don't have to do anything or take any classes to become creative. We were born creative. Doesn't mean we don't want to take some classes, but we were born with everything we need. Ernest Holmes said, all the power in the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. Act as though it were true. And if we're creating a world that works for everyone, we can see that vision instead of the chaos and the division that we see on the news every day. If we can hold the intention of that world that works for everyone, that peace that is natural to all of us, if we can stay in the flow, it becomes so much easier because we are greater. You are greater than you can ever imagine. You are more powerful than you can ever imagine. And in this flow, the possibilities are unlimited. Things that we haven't even thought about yet can be the solution. So let us step forth together and support each other in this great calling. Let us step into the flow and allow Spirit to bring everything we need right into our laps. So I know this is possible, and I know that it's already happening, and I'm really excited about the possibilities that are going to stream forth from this new time of our coming back out into the world. Thank you so much. And Reverend Andy now has another beautiful song to share with you.
When I love myself just the way I am, I can free my power wherever I am. At any time I can redefine, get a new paradigm, and let myself grow and grow. There's only one life, that life is divine. I know it, I claim it, it's mine. I let myself see it starts with me. It's perfection that I am. When I see the truth, know the truth, be the truth has me. I release and let go, give love and more. When I love myself just the way I am, I can free my power wherever I am. At any time I can redefine, get a new paradigm, let myself grow and grow. When I love myself, when I love myself just the way I am, oh, I could free my power wherever I am. And when I decide to change my mind, get a new paradigm, let my love grow and grow. See, when I know the truth, it has to produce the results I'm looking for. It's done unto me as I believe. Possibilities all I see. When I see the best, be the best, be the best I can be. Then I know that I know that I know that I know. When I love myself just the way I am, I can free my power wherever I am. At any time I can redefine, get a new paradigm to let myself go and go. Let it go and go. So I am. Let it go and go. So you are. Let it go and go. Spirit, lead me and guide me. 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 Every day I see and I do it. Living my life to the fullest every day. There's nothing sweeter than a smile on my face. I just surrender to that power and love every moment, every day. Spirit, lead me and guide me. Spirit, just keeps on giving me. Spirit, just let it lead me and guide me. Spirit, just keeps on giving me. It's up to me to be that brighter day, because I am that I am. It supports me with yes in every way. So I surrender to that power and love every moment, every day. Oh, it's only love. See, it's all there is, all there'll ever be. It's up to me to know and believe and know there's only one life, love, peace, and harmony. Oh, it's Holy Spirit living in me. Spirit will lead you and guide you. Spirit will just keep on giving you. Spirit just let it lead you and guide you. Spirit will just keep on giving you when you find yourself going through the dark night of the soul. Just release and let go and know that it's so, and surrender to that power and love every moment, every day. Oh, yeah. It's only love. It's all there is, all there'll ever be. It's up to me to know and believe, to know there's only one life, love, peace, and harmony. Oh, it's only Spirit leading me. Spirit, lead me and guide me. Spirit, just keeps on giving me. Spirit, lead me and guide me. Spirit, just keeps on giving me. It's only love. All there is, all there'll ever be. It's up to you. Oh, it's only Spirit. Bringing me.
Thank you so much, Reverend Andy. That was so beautiful.